Hey! All right. Thanks for muted myself again, but we caught it very early this time. How you going? How you doing, Michael? Got some chill music playing. Feeling good. Day off was pretty good. I went into the city. And you know, tomorrow is also, it's Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm thinking I might still stream because I don't want to take 2 days off. So I think I'm gonna stream. I might only stream for like an hour or two tomorrow. Yeah, maybe an hour. But I do want to just get in here and keep making progress. Some updates. I updated the Twitch a little more, and then I messed around with some templates inside of Davinci Resolve, playing around, just trying to get more competent, you know, and just play around, try to find some stuff to bring to stream, and then kind of talking about this stream in general, looking over the fusion fundamentals. Yeah, so let me pull that up. It's at the end, I think yesterday, or what was that, 2 days ago, at the end of this stream, we were both like, are we gonna do this forever? But I was looking over the manual. So check this out. Fusion fundamentals. So looking over this, we got the fusion fundamentals, and we're right around here. We're at 14. Yeah, we're right around here at chapter 72. And I do think by literally going over this whole chapter, by the end of this, just doing this every day, which would probably be another like, it's gonna be like 15 days. But by the end, we'll definitely have a good grasp of the fundamentals, as the section implies. And then there's a whole nother section, which is the effects page, where it's like each individual node in more detail. And I think at this point, well, that's far away. But I think at this point, we'll, one, be way more competent, but we'll also probably be better off deciding what to do at this point. Some ideas were floating around my head, but for now, I think just sticking to this, trying to get through this as quickly as possible. Maybe aiming for like a daily quota of like 30 pages. Yeah, I don't know. Also with yesterday, like taking a day off, I do feel better today. And we're gaining the experience. It's like a marathon here, isn't it? But let's see, we got we're at 14,008, right? Let me check. I wrote it down. It was 1408, yeah. We're almost done with this chapter. So let's pick up where we left off. Have you been editing at all? Messing around in Fusion? It's like this is like such a, this is a pretty intense format, to be honest. Actually, I'll give you a little quick fact. Fun fact is that I lived in China for a short while, and I went to, actually for a while, and I attended a Chinese VFX boot camp. And it was like a super intensive 2-month training program. And yeah, that was like I went to the place and it was like 10-hour sessions per day for like 2 months. That was tough. But this is still, it still seems like what we're doing here is pretty intense. But you know, it's gonna work out if we stick to it, persevere. So let's see, we've got selecting a node to edit. Same thing, we were looking over spreadsheets. Yeah, I have some knowledge. We covered Davinci Resolve, but we only like touched on the coloring page. We actually worked in Adobe Premiere. You know, Premiere, After Effects, and then we got into Cinema 4D. And then at that point, I went into Unreal Engine. But yeah, it was something. It's something to like replicate. Like a lot of what that was about was we would have like a piece of footage, and then we'd recreate it. And it's one thing to just straight look at a piece of content and recreate it, and it's another to kind of right now what we're doing is sort of discovering the program, but also trying to think up our own stuff. But maybe that's a good exercise, is that we look at content. An idea I had was to watch out for Super Bowl Sunday. If there's any commercials, maybe we could try and recreate something as a way for like marketing. Just an idea. For Cinema 4D, I was doing just 3D modeling. Yeah, it was 3D modeling, learning like how to make scenes and 3D objects, and it was more of an introductory, sort of. It was like kind of introductory, but it was intensive, so we kind of went straight all the way to like a final product that looked pretty cool. But yeah, it was like scene creation, and we learned about the lighting and then how to render it. And I don't have Cinema 4D now. I don't want to pay for it, which is stupid, because now I use Fusion now, Fusion 360, which is like, I have a 3D printer, so I like using Fusion for modeling, which was just as expensive, although it's a one-time purchase. No, it isn't. What am I talking about? The yearly thing. All these things, too expensive. Let's see, if we go to here, add in a Fusion comp so we don't lose the thing again. The effects. Actually, I think it's a little tiny easier in the timeline when we're doing the keyframes and stuff if you start on 0. Alright, we're over here. No, this goes negative. Okay, whatever. Where'd it go? Where's the... here we go. All right, so last time we were talking about the spreadsheet editor. Then we had selecting a node, editing the nodes, inserting keyframes. This is review, customizing the keyframe editor. If you want to customize it, you can change the line shape. Oh, that's good to know. So display point values. Wait, so line size. The line size options controls the height of each timeline segment individually. It is often useful to increase the height of a timeline bar especially when editing or manipulating complex splines. Methods of increasing or decreasing the height of segments. You can right-click anywhere within the keyframe editor and choose a size from the line size submenu. Right-click, so you can't see that, can you? Close the splines, okay. Okay, so in the keyframes section, you can go and got Davinci Resolve open. Good. I got it all correctly sized here for the stream. We're ready to go. And so they're saying scale, you can change the keyframe scale. No, that's not what they're saying. All line sizes. There we go. Oh, okay. So we need to get... Let's start again with like a background just for the sake of getting some nodes going. Oops. Ellipse is on top. This is one thing. If you drag that out to here, it creates that merge. Oh. Why am I previewing? Why is there? There we go. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to add a transform in here. And let's do a, I don't know, like let's do a bounce. Make this a little smaller. Level. Width, height. Let's do 0.1, 0.1. You have to connect the output of the merge to the media out. Oh, oh, okay. Oh my. Wait, this is still busted. Hold up. Huh. Okay, well the transform, I can see the transform. Oh boy. Bumpy start. It is. Connect the transform to the yellow input. Oh, man, that's still messing me up. There. Okay. Oh, I'm still getting confused with that. So the yellow is the background. I gotta remember about the background, and then the green is the foreground. Foreground is like the top. Background, bottom. And then there's an effect mask which is what the ellipse went straight into the background as. Went straight to the mask node connector. All right. I want to animate this ball, I guess. Let's see. Let's go straight to the beginning here. And let's do frame 30. I get to here, say 0.25. Then can we get a squash? Yeah, that's good. So here to here, and then go like that. Then like frame 40, we'll have it go back up. Nope. 2.5. Oh, to 1. And at 60, should be back to where it was at. So frame 60, no, it doesn't work like that. Oh. Oh man. Yeah, right. Like this guy went to VFX school. Wait, let's see. Get down to here. So it shouldn't be. And this is all taking way too long. I can select it all, right click, and time stretch it, bring it in. That's broken, that's super broken. So it's this, man, this feels so. So here shouldn't start squashing until this point, right? How do I? This is super tough. Why is it so hard? User error, man. Call me. Hold up. Did that do it? Okay, we re-center with. What was the point of this? We wanted to see line sizes. We wanted to check that line sizes could be resized to for easier viewing. So we successfully just did that. Okay, great. That is way too large. Let's see. Probably a line size of like. Bruh. Display point values. So you can, a more traditional view of keyframes is to view them as control points instead of vertical bars. making them easier to select for some reason. For some people. Yeah, actually that's probably a good adjustment for me. So if you go to here, options, here, options, display point values. I mean, that looks a lot better for me. And that's also the same as splines, what they look like. That seems like it makes a lot more sense. Can I add a keyframe for aspect? And then this is supposed to be the thing that's at 1. Okay, we're getting there. That animation. You know what? Here, let's retry that. Bruh. We gotta bring it in. We gotta pull it together. Oh my god. All right. It's a mask. Rough start, man. The chat was good, but then we got right into the been a day away, you know. I got the jitters. Shake it off. Come on. Let's try that again. I want to animate this thing. I want to make this ball bounce. Let's see. I'm going to start here. It goes to here. We're going to block it out, right? Come on. Think. And then at frame 10, it's going to be down here. And then at frame 20, it's going to be back at the top. Back where it started. And then when it hits right at frame 9, it's gonna squash. So that's where it starts. So we would do the squash at frame, 1 frame there, 1 frame there. No, that's wrong. It would be this frame, it would be this one. And then this is where it would squash. And then this is where it would go back to 1. And that's gonna look Disney-esque. This dude from Disney. Okay, kind of fast, but successfully did the demonstration. Sorta. Close enough. Oh, and then this is easier to edit, so we could just do that to there. I think if I do this, then I can actually make this. Wasn't it possible to do these? Or you have to do that from the spline editor. Bring these down like that. Now this is gonna be like, this is gonna look like something straight out of a Disney movie. That that ball bounce. Wow. Display point values. But so that was display point values. Is that you can right click and go to options and do display point values instead of enable marker grab. I don't know what the marker grab thing is. Doesn't make any sense for me. Was it? It was options. That seems way harder to read. It's either the default instead of display point values. I feel like that's the way. This is the way. This with like the spreadsheets. Did you get it to work? Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's way better. That makes, what is that? Covers the displaying audio waves. You can display a media in nodes audio waves form in the keyframe editor and use it as a guide. Can I download the Monstercat audio? Because I would like to demonstrate this and like kind of set it up, and it needs to be something with like, oh, I can. Okay, I'm gonna download a Monstercat song real quick. Yeah, this is key stuff. Yeah, I like one of my favorite Monstercat artists. He's in here. He releases most of his stuff under a different label, but I like AU5. Let's see. Doesn't have any recent stuff though. Oh, it's gonna be too hard. We need something like that just has like a clear beat though. Because his stuff is like for later maybe. This would be too hard to work over. Let's see. If we got, let's just see. New music. BT, what's this? Okay. This is very chill, and like has a clear beat to it, right? I'll just download the MP3 and add this in. Huh. Where'd he go? Uno momento, my bad. Bro. Oh, where is it? Okay. So we add this as a media in. Media in. Add audio. Why don't we check what it says? Okay, so displaying the audio, you can display a media in node's audio waveform. So it needs to be as a like part of a video frame. Like a video needs to be on an audio waveform in the keyframes editor, and use it as a guide as you add and move keyframes. So to display the audio waveform in the keyframe editor, open the keyframe editor, click the disclosure arrow next to the media in node to view the audio waveform for that clip. So if the clip has audio, it's as simple as just selecting the media in from here. Yeah, and it will show up in this section here. So if we've got some footage here, with audio, you can just display it here. And to change the size of the audio waveform display, you can open the keyframe editor, right click it, right click over the audio form and choose line size. So to make it larger, you go line size, set it to medium, and the waveform will be much easier to see. Huh. But now the question's open, like how do I get the media source from like just an audio source onto the nodes? Does it need to be part of a video? And then to open the keyframes editor, to view the audio waveform, you can open the keyframe editor and expand the saver track to view the audio waveform. Now that's for Fusion Studio. And then to change the size of the audio waveform, same deal, right click, line size. And then here's a tip, right clicking a track in the keyframe editor and choosing all line sizes, minimum, small, medium, large, huge, changes all the tracks and audio waveforms in the keyframe editor. Okay. So that's that was supposed to be basic stuff. Bit of a struggle for some reason, but let's continue. Animating in Fusion Spline Editor. That was keyframes, and I feel actually that was good. I feel like the key part is honestly the waveform bit is really important because a lot of the time you're kind of syncing stuff with audio. So right click, line size to change that, and you can view it. And then the other thing is, like we said, probably going to be able to view your keyframes. Like we could make these a little larger. But you can select the keyframes in this mode. All I did was turned off options. I turned on display point values in options, and then kind of checking out this spreadsheet. That's the main bit, isn't it? That's the keyframe editor. And the time stretching, yeah. Which I saw is also down here as a button. I was right-click doing it, but you can also click this button down here. All right. Cool. So we've got the animating in the spline editor. This chapter covers how you can keyframe effects and control animations in Fusion Spline Editor. Contents is the overview, the interface, and then creating animation splines, working with keyframes and splines, filtering the spline editor, reshaping splines using the toolbar, and importing and exporting splines. So the spline editor overview. The spline editor is the main area where animation is manipulated and refined. You primarily use the spline editor to show the changing values of parameters over time in the form of splines, whereas keyframes explicitly set the value of a parameter on a given frame. Splines are lines or curves that interpolate the values between keyframes. Once you set a keyframe on a parameter, a spline is created and can be displayed in the spline editor, so you can make further refinements to the animation, to the curves and stuff. However, the spline editor is more advanced than a standard curve editor, since it can also display functions, which may not be splines, like changing characters within a text string or mathematical expressions that drive your animation. And what are splines? All animation uses splines that describe the value of a parameter at any given point in time. The spline editor graph shows the time of the comp along the horizontal axis and the value of the parameter along the vertical. The advantage of using splines to represent animation instead of keyframes, as in the keyframes editor, is that splines allow you to manipulate the interpolation between keyframes. So for example, if a keyframe is set at a value of 1 on the parameter for frame 1, followed by a keyframe value of 10 for the frame 10, the values between keyframes are smoothly interpolated or calculated based on the shape of the spline. Using the function and controls in the spline editor, you have a fantastic amount of control over that interpolation. And then spline editor interface. The spline editor is not visible by default. Gotta go up here, and then, but you can show it at any time up here, and then the spline editor can open alongside the node editor. Yep. The graph, header, and toolbar. The spline editor has 3 main working areas: the graph, header, and toolbar. So this is the graph, the header, I guess, up here, and then and a toolbar that runs along the bottom, so down here, and providing a variety of ways to manipulate the splines. Okay, we know this stuff. The graph is the largest area of the interface. It is here that you see the edit, the animation splines. There are 2 axes in the graph. The horizontal axis represents time, and the vertical axis represents the spline's value. A thin bar called the playhead runs vertically through the graph to represent the current time. Okay. Spline editor header. The header provides a mechanism for determining what splines are visible in the graph. Same deal. You can turn things on to display them or turn them off. Although, oh, okay. So if looks like if it's like this dotted or square, dotted, whatever they call it, then it doesn't show the points, but it will show the shape. We'll find out the word probably. And then the header provides a mechanism for determining what splines are visible in the graph. It shows the name of each spline in the project beneath the tool that contains that parameter. The checkbox Beside each name shows whether that spline is currently displayed in the graph and whether the spline can be edited. And then the spline editor toolbar. The toolbar is at the bottom, and we'll go over those. The playhead is just like normal. It's like this thing. The status bar in the lower right corner. So the status bar in the lower right corner of the Fusion window regularly displays information about the position of the pointer, along with the time and value axes. Can you see that? Yeah. Oop. Down here, this stuff. If I select this thing, like this one, yeah. The context menu. There are two context menus accessible from the spline editor. The spline context menu is displayed by right-clicking over the graph, while the guide context menu is displayed by right-clicking on the time ruler. Oh, okay. There's one here. And there's one here. Renaming splines. The name of a spline in the header is based on the parameter it animates. You can change the name of a spline by right-clicking it in the header and choosing Rename Spline. So spline, here? No, here? It doesn't seem right. Spline. So the name of the spline in the header is based on the parameter it animates. Oh, okay. So displacement here, I could rename it to, rename is here. Same as before, you could press F2. Okay, so you could rename that if you want, which might help. Then changing spline colors. Each spline in the graph is assigned a different color, making individual splines. So same like before, you can kind of customize this stuff to probably help with the workflow when things get really big. You have a lot of splines going on. That might be helpful. Navigating around the spline editor. Same deal. This is the vertical. This is the horizontal. It's often necessary to magnify and pan around the graph area to ensure that the splines you want to work on are visible. In general, splines and panning that the spline editor works the same as in all navigable parts of the Fusion interface. So it works the same. You can make it taller, wider. You can also do control, zoom. Control scroll wheel is in, or zoom and zoom out. Alt is left and right. And this one's useful, where it's like on the I have displacement selected, so when I press this, it puts it right nicely in view for what I got here. And then the scale, you can also press the, I guess, plus and minus key. All right, well, I do control. I like control, but whatever. And then the pan, same deal. You could do scale to fit, or Command F. Scale up here as well, which this looks ridiculous on my screen because I have it kind of bigger for the stream, but might be useful to get to. You have a normal size screen going. You can do Control R for scale to rectangle. If you want to do your own custom size, Control R. Auto fit, yeah. And then there's markers, same as the keyframes. Markers help identify important frames in a project. They may indicate a frame where a ray gun shoots a beam in the scene, the moment that someone passes through a portal, yeah. So same deal. You can add a marker here, and you can add a marker here. Scale. Let's zoom out. Run the zoom in. Oh, because we have nothing selected. And there's that red marker. And then working with markers, same thing. You can, they call attention to particular frames. Yeah, with this part, this is basically same as the keyframes. Just getting familiar with like what I just did with something. A note where you got to have your thing selected. Simple stuff, but covering it. Have your stuff selected and then it will show up here. Multiple can be selected. If it has keyframes, it will show up. And we've got markers. So adding markers is good for syncing moments. And then auto snap. To assist in precisely positioning keyframe control points along the horizontal axis, you can enable the spline editor's auto snap function. So what? So for precisely positioning keyframe control points along the horizontal axis, time axis, enable spline auto snap. Right clicking over spline. You gotta right click over the spline. What was it? And choose options auto snap. Options auto snap. Oh, for the auto snap markers or auto snap points. Okay, so if you, oh, don't panic. Everything's okay. We're getting back in. The auto snapping? Yeah, that's well, I'm not really sure what that's for. Yeah, we tried auto snapping and it broke things. But if you go to options, auto snap, to be honest, I don't know what that's for. If you have a lot of keyframes and you want stuff to kind of like click in, that's what's you know what snapping is in programs, so it's, I guess that's the same idea. Keyframe section. And we got, like that. Oh, okay, all right. So creating animation splines. Animation splines are created automatically when you keyframe parameter to the inspector or the keyframe editor. However, you can create an animation spline without first having to add a keyframe. To create a spline, right-click on a parameter to be animated in the inspector. Let's try to continue this thing that we were starting here with another background. Like, let's try and do a motion graphic thing. We have a rectangle. Boom. Yes. We'll color this blue. then this one. Oh, so let's do this one on. Let's do this at the background, and then this can just go above it like that. Okay. Yes. And let me see if we could do like, oops. Oh God. What have I done? No. Nope. Okay. Okay, we're back. Okay, so what I was thinking was if we had like, it can just be like this. Just a whole bunch of these things. Let's make this one like a different blue. And this one like another blue. Lighter blue. And now we have blue, blue, and blue. This one's dark blue. Dark blue. Or medium blue. All right, so if we had this one, I want to like put in a transform here. That's a rectangle. That's a transform. And if we just animate it from here, here, what is that? Okay. And then it will come in at 15. No, 10. Okay. And then all we have to do is copy this to these. Wait, let's just do it with this one. I'm trying to offset this now by disconnected. Yeah. So offset this one, just do this one on 1. Or on frame 1. So we want to be actually in the keyframe section here. Come on, I want to get this 1. No, that's the value though. I wanted to just move the. I want to move that over one keyframe. Just so they're staggered. Okay. Looks kind of stupid at this point, but. Getting messy. Don't want that. Don't want that. We want this part of that. Okay, and this one. Same deal. We got the same transform. We want to just move it over one more. Oh boy. Okay, that's easy enough. You can just drag it. Okay. So what are we doing? looks so dumb. But let's see, if we turn, we go settings and we turn on motion blur, it looks a little bit better. And I think we want to animate these. Just okay, so it kind of looks like a transition in. What's happening though? Where's this one? What was the hotkey to I have no idea what you're doing, but I like it. Thanks. Thanks. That's how I feel right now as well. One of the transforms is not connected to the merge. Okay. Yes. Okay, that looks sweet. I don't really know what I was doing either. I think it's something to do with like thinking of a transition, because this shape could be anything. This doesn't even need to be rectangles. Right, if we just delete it, then this is a cool transition on. Yeah, that's just a pretty cool transition in the making. We go back to the, this is the spline editor. Come on, reorientate yourself. I could just plug it in here and just go back to 0. Okay, I think it's like a transition. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that's the idea. Like a slide in transition. Oh wait. Hold up. Hold up. Oh my god, what time is it? Wait. We can do this. We can do this in 1 minute. Wait, why isn't this? Where's this? Oh, it needs to be on the top, right? So on the multi-merge, I could. The multi-merge basically is like works like layers. Thought. Multi-merge, nothing's 3D. This is just a regular text here. This should just plug in, shouldn't it? Or is there a limit? There might be a limit to. I might be doing this wrong. I might be doing this. The multi-merge might not really work like that. Might be that I need to now just kind of continue the flow of stuff. Flow of stuff. Foreground. This is the background, so that needs to switch. This one needs to go on the, there we go. Might be not using that totally correct, but, or switch manually. Yeah, I don't know if I'm, this might not be totally correct, but it might be. How it's like, I don't know. But let me animate this in. Beginning. Put it there. And then here. 15. Put it to here. And this. Text. Use. I like this one. What's an epic gamer font? Oh yeah, wait, no, come on, I got some. Oh, here we go. This is my no, I'm not using impact. This is my here. This is my epic gamer font. We could do no. Let's keep it simple. And for the sake of this, wait. Wait. Oh, media out. Okay. Yes. Oh, and then this has to go for 5 minutes, right? And a timer. Can I add a timer? I think I can, but no, not right now. Saving it as a MP4, not an MKV. MP4. Add to render. Damn it. No. Why? Why not? Okay, you know what? It has to be RDB. Did I in here? Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? Can't we full screen this? Let's full screen it. Control F. Yes. Okay, you ready? I'll be right back. 5 minutes. Damn it. Come on. Oh. Okay. Oh, I hear you. Yeah. So we got to make the text. Okay. Well, we'll do that when we get back. 5 minute break. BRB. Okay, cool. So I think that's the beginning of motion graphics in with Davinci Resolve. That looks pretty cool. That's the foundation, right? 3 shapes. And then actually there was also this thing. There was a ball in here. Why is that gone? Why is that crossed out? Maybe I could have this there. I broke it. Now do the Netflix intro. Uh-huh. All right. I mean, should we look at it for reference? I'm scared. That scared me. Netflix. Remove the blue one. Okay. What was that on? The mask. And then move this. Here it is. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that today. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think today. Maybe tomorrow. Probably not. But you know, you never know. Hey, hit me. Let's see. Why did this thing stop working? Can we get a visual? Okay. It was working for a moment there. Things were looking bright. Oh, I also saw something during the break, which is that when you make the fusion composition, you're supposed to bring it up here. I think that's why it didn't render. Then you bring it here onto the timeline. Multi-merge needs a background. Oh, it always, okay. Background. The background that I think the dark blue could be the background here. And then, yeah. And can I get this on the foreground? Oh, no, that's a mask. I just want this one on the foreground, though. I think the light blue, I think I can adjust it like that. Getting a little tripped up with that. Oh, and we lost the text here. Why did we lose the text? It's on the foreground, and then that's media out. Sheesh. We got the merge here. What did I just do? Was I... Oh, I didn't have it displayed. I have the left viewer up. Okay, I just didn't have it displayed, I guess. Ugh. All right. Okay, so creating animation splines. Animation splines are created automatically when you keyframe a parameter in the inspector or the keyframe editor. However, you can create an animation spline without first having to add a keyframe. To create a spline, right-click on the parameter to be animated in the inspector and choose Animate from the context menu. So in a spline, you have them here, you can right-click and they say right-click on the parameter to be animated in the inspector and choose Animate from the context menu. Oh, in the inspector. Okay, yeah, we've been doing that. Just like normal. For a different parameter, if you wanted to do angle, yeah, animate, and then it shows up in here. Is that what they're saying? Okay, so it's not, well, it adds a spline, then it shows up. All right. And then to delete this, works. Or you could do, can you do the delete key? Yeah, you can do delete key. Or not. Okay, guess not. And then you can, selecting animate from the context menu connects the parameter to the default spline type. This is usually a Bezier spline unless you change the default spline in the defaults panel of the Fusion preferences. And then deleting animation splines. To remove an animation spline from a parameter, right-click on the control in the inspector and select remove, and then the tool parameter's name. And then from the context menu, removing a spline from a parameter only makes it angrier and stronger. No, removing a spline from a parameter only deletes the spline if no other tool in the composition is connected to the same spline at that time. Animating with different spline types. A Bezier spline is the default spline unless changed in the preferences. Yep. However, if you want to use a spline type other than Bezier for the animation curve, you can choose the spline type from the Modify with Context submenu before creating any keyframes. Which is actually a pretty good way to do it. We should get familiar with those because I think a lot of the time there's like general shapes that you might end up liking more, and they can they're more or less based off of these. That's my thinking. I'm not totally sure about that, but I think like I went through these and I was like, oh yeah, usually These are fun to start from. Makes sense. There's the Bezier spline. They're the default curve type. 3 points for each keyframe on the spline determine the smoothness of the curve. The first point is the actual keyframe, representing the value at a given time. And then the other 2 points represent handles that determine how smoothly the curve for the segments leading in and out of the keyframe are drawn. So Bezier is the most used spline type because Bezier splines allow you to create a combination of curves and straight lines. And then modify with B-spline. Oh, I don't like B-splines. B-splines are in Fusion. I don't get them. I don't get why you'd use this B-spline. B-splines use a single point to determine the smoothness of the curve. Okay, so like that's the point. And it like cuts the difference or something. Instead of using handles, a single control point determines the value as well as the smoothness of the curve. Holding down the W key while dragging left or right on the control point adjusts the tension of the curve. These splines are kind of stupid. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe you'll love them. Modify with cubic spline. Cubic splines are similar to Bezier splines in that the spline passes through the control point. However, cubic splines do not display handles and always make the smoothest possible curve. In this way, they are similar to B splines. This spline type is almost never used. Okay. And then there's the natural cubic spline. What was I talking about? I thought there was like, no, this is, what is natural cubic spline? The natural cubic splines are similar to cubic splines, except that they change in a more localized area. These are like the default spline shapes, which is not what I was getting at. I thought actually it was like you could select this and do ease in, ease out, flat. Where's this spline type? Options? No. Spline. Like this, like you could do reverse or step out. No, but I had in my mind that it was something like you had like regular animation types, but that might be like a plugin that you need for what I was kind of mentioning. Go to ease. Yeah, ease, just basically going to ease or flat. But I think, no, what I was kind of getting at was more of like a preset that would have like common cycles. That might be like, yeah, reverse. That's all good. Let's keep going here. Adding equal keyframes. If you want to hold a value over several frames, right-clicking in the graph area and choosing Set Key Equal To displays a submenu to add a new keyframe with a value equal to the next or the previous keyframes. What? Adding equal keyframes. Set key equal to. Oh, it just, okay, so it literally, so if we did another one, so if I do here, set key equal to previous, and then it'll be just there. Yeah, that's it. So it just puts this keyframe here for previous, and then if there was another keyframe, like if we had another one, That's up here. We put it here. I right click. We could say set to next. Really thought this was going to appear up here. Oh, okay. I don't know why that didn't happen the first time, but yeah, there you go. And if we do it to previous, it's going to be this one. You get it. That equal to previous. There we go. All right. And then adding equal keyframes, locked and unlocked control points. When animating the center XY or pivot XY parameters on any tool, you create a displacement spline in the spline editor. The displacement spline represents the relative offset position of the animated object along its path. Since the displacement spline is relative, keyframes use a value between 0 and 1. A displacement value of 0 in the spline editor indicates that the object is at the very beginning of the path. A value of 1 indicates that the object is positioned at the end path. They're talking about, a locked control point and unlocked, meaning like, I think that's like if you have a video clip and you're editing the like time remapping it, that 0 is going to be the beginning of the video clip, and then 1 is going to be the end of it. Let's see if we have this here. So if I just go straight to media out, huh? What was I expecting? I was expecting like to be able to time remap it in here. Time, hold frames, reverse, loop. But I guess that brings up another question, is how do you edit? How do you retime stuff in Fusion? And why is there 7,000 frames in the viewer? We don't need. And then can I auto render range? Or okay, why is this? Why is there so many frames here? I have 7,000 up. Can I? There we go. Okay. Remember your training. Okay. Locked and unlocked control points. Right. So 0 to 1. If this was a time graph, and if normal time was straight, then if you did something like this, it would speed up and then kind of relatively slow down and then be normal. That's my point. And then displacement paths are composed of locked and unlocked points. Whether a point is locked or is determined by how you added it to the polyline. And then locked points on the spline have an associated point in the viewer's motion path. Unlocked points do not have a corresponding point in the viewer's motion path. So each has a distinct behavior as described below. Tip: you can convert displacement splines to X and Y coordinates by right-clicking over the motion path in the viewer and choosing path number, polyline, convert to XY. I'm still not sure like what this is talking about though. When animating the center XY. So we're talking about not time maps of footage, but it's just this. the center pivot. Let's see if we have this on the timeline over here. Then we go into Fusion again. Are they talking about from here? If you go, man, not sure. Not sure what this section's about, but you can convert displacement splines to X and Y coordinates by right-clicking over the motion path and going to convert to XY. All right. So locked points. Locked points are the motion path equivalents of keyframes. They're the motion path equivalents of keyframes. They are created by moving the playhead position and changing the parameter value. These points indicate that the animated object must be in a specified position on a specified frame. Since these keyframes are only related to position along the path, they can only be moved horizontally along the spline's time axis. So the locked points appear as larger sized lock icons in the spline editor. And then each locked key has an associated point on the motion path in the viewer. Deleting a locked point changes the overall timing of the motion. Oh, so locked points, I've seen that before. And I wasn't sure what I was looking at. If we go here, sometimes in the motion path or in the splines, it's like it's just literally a spline that has a lock thing icon on it. Go back to what? We're super far away. We're at 6,000, frame 6,000. Oh, that's because we made this like so huge. Just bring that back. The timeline makes a little more sense. Okay. And bring this up. And then unlocked points. Unlocked points are created by clicking directly on the spline in the spline editor. These points give additional control over the acceleration along the motion path without adjusting the path itself. Conversely, you can add unlocked points in the viewer to control the shape of the motion path without changing the timing. You can change an unlocked point into a locked point and vice versa by selecting the point, right-clicking, and choosing lock point in the context menu. So we have this, bring up this. Oh yeah, see, those are locked points. Where is the lock point? Oh, now it's really locked. Now it's locked. Huh. Actually, that's weird. I can move the location, but I can't adjust the value. So it's like soft lock. And oh, that's the wrong thing. But if I lock this, oh. Selecting, moving, and deleting keyframes. The placement of keyframes greatly affects the style of the animation. Using the graph, you can select keyframes and move them up or down to change their value, or move them left or right to change the timing. Keyframes can be copied and pasted between splines. Okay, I want to bring back this element. Maybe if I take this out and move it further up the stream, like that, that's it. Oh yeah. I like when this happens. And then Boing. And then we get to this thing. We'll select all the keyframes. And we can loop it, can't we? Is that ping pong? And it will just continue? Oh. Oh, that doesn't work because the aspect just keeps looping. So I have to have this all on the same amount, which is aspect and so aspect. Okay, so displacement. But we want to add a keyframe for aspect here as well. And then we go to the end. And we add another keyframe for aspect. And now this will properly loop. And we can go to the beginning. Point, 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 point. Although there should be, we're missing another boink. We got boink. And then we need another boink there. Another boink. Oh, because this is, it boinks. But it needs to boink again. But it should. We should be seeing a boink. There's a, we see it. I mean, it's like in the aspect, it's right there. We see the line. We should be having another boink. Where did the other boink go? Why isn't it boinking? And then it goes up, and then we get another boink there. It's only boinking on the way up though, for some reason. Okay, let's leave that there. I feel like that's making some progress, but might become obvious all of a sudden, hopefully. So moving keyframes. You can freely move keyframes with the mouse. You can select keyframes, move keyframes. You can move keyframes with the mouse, drag. You can hold down the Option key before dragging the keyframe to constrain its motion to a single axis. So holding Option, which is, so let's see. Okay, so I held Option. I'm holding Alt on PC. And that. Oh, so you hold, hit Alt, and then like depending on which direction you go, it will stick to that. It's up or down. And then you can move keyframes using the edit fields. Right? Wait, what is edit fields? The value and time editors are found on the far right of the toolbar. Okay, so if I select that, oh, they're saying here 1.5. Okay. 1. All right. And then these fields allow you for explicit values to be entered. To delete one or more, you can just select it and delete it with the backspace or delete key. To remove this, okay, this only removes the keyframes. It does not remove the spline. So even if there are no keyframes on the spline. So to remove the spline, right click on the parameter in the inspector and choose remove parameter. So you select here and remove key or remove path 1. Remove key, I think. I don't want to press it. I'm not going to press it. No, we can't live scared. We got to press it. Remove key. Oh, that was just one key though. And then Control Z, we're back. Is that the default? Oh. It was on default at this point. Remove key. Is that the default? I'll reset the whole thing. So showing key markers. You can adjust the position of the keyframes in time without worrying about manipulating splines by using the key markers. The horizontal time axis can show markers that indicate the position of each keyframe. The display of these markers is enabled by right-clicking in the graph and choosing Show Key Markers. So show key markers. Then you get little indicators here. Oh, okay. All right. And then copying and pasting keyframes. Same dealio. You can Control C. To copy and paste points to a new location. Select the keyframe, Control C, and then you click in an empty area of the graph to deselect all the copied points, and then you move to the playhead to the area of the spline where you want the points pasted and press Command V. Or move the pointer over the spline where you want the points pasted, and when the spline highlights, right click and choose Paste Points / value. Okay, so just Control V. Control C, Control V. Control C, Control V. That was a bad example. Do Control C. What? Let's see if we turn that off. Select it. Is that selecting it? Yeah. And I do Control V here. Okay. Okay. Control C. Maybe if I... Okay. And we're back at this thing. Why is this not boinking? There should be one boink. And then it should boink again. But it clearly does not boink. Where's the boink? To copy and paste keyframes, yep. Just demonstrated to copy and paste the keyframe value. Make one spline the active visible spline and select all the keyframes on the spline, and then right click over a single point and choose copy value. Set the spline to viewed or disabled using the status checkbox next to the spline, the spline's name in the header, and then make the destination spline the active visible spline and select the keyframe on the spline. What is this? To copy and paste the keyframe value. Yeah, it's too powerful. We can't handle the boink yet. We've not shown the boink that we could handle it. More respect is required. We got to be humble. Getting too cocky, thinking that we can just handle the boink just right from the start. Gotta respect Davinci Resolve Fusion page. Gotta stay humble. So let's see. To paste keyframe points with an X or Y offset. Oh, that's confusing. So if you're using XY offsets with oh, that gets really confusing. If you have keyframes here, if you're editing in the keyframe place, and you have a keyframe that is using time offset, then it gets confusing for this over here, for calculating these things. If you want to paste the keyframe points and values with an X or Y offset, is that what the... I might be reading that wrong. Also, how do we get rid of this thing? I want to get rid of the thing from yesterday where it says the value here. That looks stupid. I don't know, something about the keyframes here. There we go. I want the points to be on by default. And then also turn off the this value show tips, show whatever. Don't gotta obsess about that at this point. You cannot copy and paste between different spline types. For instance, you cannot copy from a Bezier spline and paste into a B-spline. That's good now. Yeah, so basically choose your spline type and stick to it. And the splines are really just for changing the shape of things of the spline. Like it's still a regular spline like this. Or it's still a Bezier spline when I mess with it. And then time and value editors. The time and value editors in the lower there we go. Time and value editors. The time and value editors in the lower right corner of the spline editor are used to change the position and parameter value of a keyframe by entering a number in the number field for each button. So that's the same deal. Select this and you get, oh, gotta make sure that, see that. Got the time and the value. It's actually a good way to edit these things, I think. I feel like when you're working in here, it can get super messy. Might be easier to just use the time and value. And then the time editor, same deal as the keyframes. You can, instead of value, you could do this as an offset. If you're getting kind of calculating stuff, doing it real numerically. And then time, the number field. Still, I'm trying to wrap my head around the difference between keyframes and spline. And I still think keyframes is like first in the workflow where you're supposed to be blocking out the motion of the animation. And then spline is like the next, the kind of the finishing step where you're refining the spline, like the movement path, like how it moves from keyframe to keyframe. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, spline is smoothing. Keyframes is like the steps. Spline is the way it gets through the steps. Yeah. And then value editor. The value editor is used to modify. Yeah, we've read these before. It's like time offset. There's time, which is the default, and then time offset, and then time scale. Then value editor. The value editor is used to modify the selected keyframes parameter value using one of 3 value modes. You can change the value mode, which is there's value, and then there's value offset, and then value scale, same deal. Modifying spline handles. All Bezier spline keyframes have a pair of control panels to shape the spline as it passes through the key point. These handles are only displayed when the keyframe is selected. Initially, These handles are set to linear, creating straight line changes between the keyframes. However, any control point can be made smooth by right-clicking it and choosing smooth or pressing Shift S. Oh, I do Control S, Shift S, I guess, same deal. Then dragging on a keyframe's handles adjusts the slope of the segment passing through the spline. By default, the two handles on a control point are locked together so that if one moves, the one on the other side moves with it. This maintains a constant tension through the keyframes. There are situations, however, when it is desirable to modify these controls handles separately for a more pronounced curve or effect. To temporarily break the control handles on a Bezier spline, moving one independently of the other. Select the control point to be modified and then holding down the command key or control on PC and drag at one of the control handles, and then you can move them independently. So we can modify this boink by holding control. You can just use one and how should this? Yeah, make it a boink like this. Boink, boink, wait. And then it breaks. Oh, I think I know. Oh, wait, this. Oh, no. We got, no. Okay, I thought maybe it was because it was running out of space. Boink, 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 boink. That is a one busted animation. But let's see, reducing points. When there are, we have to read more. That's the conclusion here. So to treat all, So to treat all Bezier handles as independent in the spline editor, right-click in the graph and choose independent handles from the options context menu. Oh, okay. So to treat all Bezier handles as independent, so by default, you could have them as movable. You can go into options and choose independent handles, and then enabling this option causes all the Bezier handles to be independent, right? Yeah. This is the same as using the command key. So I'll probably just continue using control, clicking, because it is useful to have straight Bezier lines going through some angles by default. And then reducing points. When there are too many control points too close together on a spline, you can choose reduce points to decrease their number, making it easier to modify the remaining points. The overall shape of the spline is maintained as closely as possible while eliminating redundant points from the path. That's a good one, because points can get messy. And then to reduce the number of points on a spline, select the range of keyframes you want to thin out, right-click on the graph and choose reduce points. And then when the reduce points dialog appears, drag the slider to a lower value, and then you can set the slider value as low as possible, as long as the spline still closely resembles the shape of your original spline. And then when the value is 100, no points will be removed from the spline. Use smaller values to eliminate more points. Filtering the spline editor. The animation splines for multiple parameters can be displayed within the spline editor simultaneously, and Fusion offers several ways for you to choose which spline to view and which to edit. Complex composition can easily contain dozens, if not hundreds, of animation curves. As a composition grows, locating a specific spline can become more difficult. There are two ways to filter splines shown in the editor. Display selected tools only, or create a filter to show only certain tools. So up in here, Fusion, if we go to the Load these up. Here. There. Don't need keyframes. I go here. Can't see it on my screen, but go here. Show only selected tool. I'm trying to see something. I just noticed that like when I press this, if I press this, these aren't selected by default. I wonder if there's a setting for that to automatically select the splines that are in the node by default. Show marker, not sure. Yeah, it's all right. Let's see in here, collapse all. Oh, for filters, if you want filters, you can have filters if you have like a bajillion keyframe lines here. Then you can go here and in the splines, you can edit it here. Auto smooth, spline, LUTs, paths, splines, poly. Yeah, so what are they saying? So show only selected tool, show all / none, expose all controls, follow active. Oh, follow active, that is what I'm trying to say. How come I don't see that? Follow active. Huh? What does it say? Follow active. The follow active option is located by right-clicking on the graph and choosing options follow active. Right-clicking options follow active. That just do the thing that I was confused or I wanted to have done? I think so. I think that was the thing I was looking for. Now by default, these automatically are selected and showing up. Yeah, cool. And then you need to turn it off. It's on right click, options, follow active. And then working with filters, same deal. We just kind of took a peek in there. What are filters? Filters allow you to select the specific types and classes of tools shown in the spline. Oh, actually, now is a good time for the break, for the 5-minute break. Let me see if I can put that here. This is gonna look so dumb though. Let's see if we just keep looping this. Okay, I'll be right back. 5-minute breaks. Hey, that's starting to be something. It's starting to look kind of cool. Replacing the previous default text with the effects tab. Just playing with the templates here. Seems like it's getting us closer to where we probably want this to go. And let's use a different font. What do we got here? Wingdings. Wingdings looks like Rockwell. I like yeah, this one's cool. But maybe why is it um oh okay. But I don't know what that is going like what is that with the shadow bugging out? I think it's this. There's tons of stuff animated here. I think it's this. Shadow shading. Oh. Hey, we got some stuff to look at in the spline though. Here we go. I think this is more common for what the spline editor looks like. If we are we gonna edit this? So I just want to turn off that, like, what is that stupid thing in the back? The shading, it looks so dumb. Shading. Is that the shading? How do I tell? Text, I think I just play through, just sift through here and try to figure out what's, there it is, okay. All right. Wait, but now we lost our multi-merge. What happened to this? No, it's there. It's there, but then it disappears. Oh. Yep. And layout background. No, it is transparent. The one that's linked to the text. Oh, the background. I don't need a background, right? Oh, there we go. And then, okay, sweet. Wait. But now we don't have... It needs a background though. Okay. Wait, not the mask. Put it on the background. Yes. And then we make this color transparent. Now the colors are weird. But now that works. No, that's it. That's it. Okay. Okay. So it needed a background, I guess, though? Okay. I like that we're making progress on this one thing, though, for the day. Pretty good example of motion graphics as well. Intro to motion graphics. And then to create a filter from the options menu, yeah, you can make filters. Yeah, I'm happy with how this is going. I'm gonna be honest, during the breaks, I like quickly opened up YouTube and I was like trying to watch videos real quick, like to catch myself back up. I don't know, I feel like that's cheating if I do that on stream. To switch the selection state, yeah, so you can make filters here. Filters allow you to select the specific types and classes of tools shown in the spline editor and keyframe editor. For example, you can make the filter that shows only particle nodes, or one that only shows color correction and brightness contrast tools. And then to create a filter, from the options menu, you can choose create edit filters, and then you can set the filters however you like. And then you can invert all and reset and be checked. To switch the selection state of the categories when creating a filters list, you can click the invert all. To enable all checkboxes, you can select all. To apply a filter to the spline editor, you can choose the desired filter by name from the options menu. All right, these exist. I feel like this is something that we'll be able to try later when we have bigger scenes, bigger trees going on with more things. Maybe that will come back up like, oh, let's try the filter thing. And then changing a spline status. The spline header is a hierarchical list of animated parameters and their parent nodes. Clicking the disclosure arrow next to a tool's name reveals all the names of the animated parameters on that tool. Clicking directly on the parameter name in the spline header activates that spline for display and editing. Right, that's the basic way that the spline section works. Click on the thing, and then you can edit the stuff. And then there's this tool status box, which is active. Is the checkmark viewed? So viewing is the like these, a solid gray box. The spline is visible in the graph, but you can't edit. This is useful. I got to remember this one, because the few times that I've messed around with scenes with a bunch of splines, it's like immediately overwhelming to have all of these splines in here, like all this. That yeah, that's a good way to stay organized. Is if you still want to see it, but you don't want this to keep accidentally selecting it, you could just have the one that you want. And then you can just select it like that, but still see what's going on. Yeah, that's how you can kind of keep it manageable when there's a bunch of splines. Selection states. There are 3 selection options labeled select all, deselect, and select one tool. And that determines how the item in the spline editor header behave when a checkbox or label is selected to activate a spline. And these states are located in the options menu in the upper right hand corner of the spline editor. So select all tools. Okay. And then selection groups. It's possible to save the current selection state of the splines in the header, making selection groups that can easily be reapplied when needed. To create a selection group, right-click over any parameter in the header or in an empty area of the graph and choose Save Current Selection from the context menu. A dialog will appear to name the new selection. Huh? What was it? To create a selection group, right-click over any parameter in the header. Save current selection. Wait, but how is that a selection group? It's one thing. Because I'm trying to press shift and like select this or control. Oh, did that do it? Is the UI bugging out? Wait, I thought we could, if you do shift and select up here, does it select them all, or is that, I think my UI is bugging out. I think you can multi-select these. Let me know if you can, because then that would make sense to be able to save the current selection. Test. And then what? So I'd make a selection. I saved set selection as test. Or is it one of those things where it's like it has to be, it's like a multi, you have this and this, this and this. Oh wait, that's not keyframed. These three, so you got three. Huh? Oh. Reshaping splines using the toolbar. These are several ways to manipulate the shape of a spline, thereby altering the animation that spline generates. Other than manually adjusting the Bezier, you can quickly squish, stretch, loop, and reverse a spline. You can also quickly change the interpolation between keyframes from the default linear motion to more natural smooth motion. And then all these options are provided at the bottom of the spline editor in the toolbar. The toolbar is divided into different groups for setting interpolation. Reversing splines, looping splines, time stretching, and reshaping splines. And interpolation, you can do the different variations of interpolation. So down here, if you have something that you've animated, you can have it step. Why is it not, what is going on here? What in the carnation, what happened? I broke something. Now I can't select any of them. Show only selected tool. Oh, now I really broke something. What did I do? What have I done? I think I broke something. I am going to restart. I feel like that might be the thing that fixes this. Aha! Oh, sweet. All right, sweet. All right. We identified something that was going weird properly, and we did the right thing. So the interpolation, right? So if you have keyframes, let's go. We have a transform. Oh, the transform with the boop or the boink. Never figured out why that was happening. Boink, boink. And this connects. Oh, that's why. There we go. Bruh. Bruh. Wait. Background, and this is foreground. Switch that. The background and foreground. Learning. Yay. Yay. We're doing it. And then we got the bloop, the boink. 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 Is that doing it? Oh, but it's off. Dude, what? 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 Why? Why is that? Oh, and that's another thing is we don't, this actually shouldn't be, this should be like instantaneously boink, right? Or we could even move this over, right? It needs to be just like a straight instant boink. Like all of a sudden flat. That looks pretty good. Boink. Boink. Ooh. Ooh, that looked like it had some bounce to it. Then when it gets to the top, it could go just a little bit. No, wait. Add another one here. Raise it just a little bit. Yeah. I'm gonna boink, boink. Ooh, doink, boink. Oh, and then it disappears. That's the end of the fun. No more fun. Oh, it's mirroring. Ah, that's it. I have the wrong thing on. It's not. It's mirror. Not ping pong. It's on. It is on ping pong. What? But. Oh, maybe I'm doing ping pong wrong. Maybe it might be that I'm thinking of ping pong the wrong way. Oops. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Bruh. Oh. Okay. 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 We're gonna do that. Oh. Okay. And we're gonna do that right next to each other like that. And bring this over. Doink. Doink. Okay. Okay. Oh. Easy. Doink. Doink. Okay. Okay, we're professionals here. Smooth. A smooth segment provides a gentle keyframe transition in and out. You got linear, which is straight. Invert is used only for non-animated lookup table splines. Yes, this is professional. We're learning business. Which are currently only available in the lookup table editor. And then for step in, step out, on occasion, it is not desirable to have any interpolation between two keyframes. Instead, the value of the keyframe may hold its value until another keyframe changes it. So for these cases, use the step in or step out mode. And then step in causes the value of the previous keyframe to hold, then jump straight to the value. So it just will hold it until the next one. Step right up. And then step out is same deal, but it will it's like the same thing, but it's like a step up, but it's a step out. It's flat, boop, and then step, boop, bop, like whatever. Figure out which one you want. And then reversing splines. Reverse inverts the horizontal direction of a segment of an animation spline. Reverse inverts the horizontal direction of a segment of an animation spline. So reversing. To apply reverse, choose a group of points in a spline and click the... It just came to me that ping pong, it's like it goes forward and then it reverses it and then it starts again. And that's ping pong. Like if you animate it to here and set it to ping pong, it's going to go here to here. Yeah, so that's... I mean, I don't know why this is breaking my brain. I don't know. I've used ping pong before. So reversing splines, and then you can reverse it, looping splines. It is often useful to repeat an animated section either infinitely or for a specified number of times, such as is required to create a strobing light or a spinning wheel. Can we make a strobing light? Yes, we can, but not right now. Let's keep going. Fusion offers a variety of ways to repeat a selected segment. So you can set loop. Oh, that's cool, actually. Is you can select just the keyframes to loop. Right. So to repeat or loop a selected spline segment, select the keyframes to be looped, and then select set loop from the context menu or click on the set loop button in the toolbar. And then the selected section of the spline repeats forward in time until the end of the global range or until another keyframe ends the repeated segment. Yeah, that's cool. And then changing and removing the loop. You can change the looped segment by modifying any of the keyframes or control points originally used to create the loop. Simply select one of the originating keyframe points, make any necessary modifications, and the looped segment updates. To remove the loop, select the keyframes used to create the loop, and then click the loop button in the toolbar. And then there's ping pong, that's what we were talking about. Repeats the selected segment, reverses it, and then repeats. Okay. Ping pong looping can be enabled on the selected segments. And then there's relative loop. Oh, that's another cool one. You want things like continually growing or something. So the relative loop mode repeats the segments like the loop, but each repetition adds upon the last. So it can keep growing or whatever. Looping backward, you can choose set pre-loop by right-clicking in the graph area and choosing it from the context menu. The option contains the same options for looping as the loop options button in the toolbar, except that the selected segment is repeated backwards in time rather than forward. Okay, and then repeating splines X number of times. You can duplicate the number let's see, a little melodic daydreams. Let's see what that's about. Okay. Nah, it's too hard with vocals going. All right, whatever. Forget the music for today. And then the duplicate modes are only accessed by the duplicate context menu, which reveals a submenu with all the looping modes described above. You can do duplicate and do all the different loop modes. And then there's gradient extrapolation, which is You can choose gradient extrapolation by right-clicking in the graph area and choosing it from the context menu. This option continues the trajectory of the last 2 keyframes. That's kind of cool. Excuse me. That's kind of cool because, like, if a keyframe persists, you don't want it to just like change its path, but you don't necessarily care to animate it exact. But if it like goes off screen slowly, that's when you would use this without needing to keyframe it. You could just have it do a gradient extrapolation, I guess. Time stretching. We saw this in keyframes. Works the same. Yeah, these are cool. These are all like, I've never read about them like this. Always been just kind of playing around. It's good to read. And then time stretching. Same as before, you can select the keyframes and adjust them that way. Good to use. And then when you have more than one keyframe selected on the spline, enabling time stretch surrounds the outer keyframes with 2 vertical white bars. Drag on the white vertical bars to stretch or shrink the timing of the spline segments with the bars. Drag these bars back and forth to stretch or squash the spline segment. Yeah, it's just like in keyframes. And then tip, if no keyframes are selected when you enable time stretch, drag a rectangle to set the boundaries of the time stretch. And then to disable the time stretch mode, you can click on the time stretch button in the toolbar again and reselect modes, time stretching from the context menu. Okay, and then shape box. The shape box transform mode is similar to time stretching. However, it can adjust vertical. Okay. Scaling of keyframes values as well as time. Oh, it's like time stretch, but with more stuff. You know what they say, the more the stuff, the better. To enable the shape box, do one of the following. You can select a group of keyframes and then choose Modes Shape Box from the context menu, and then select a group of keyframes and select the and then click the shape box button in the toolbar, and then you select a group of keyframes and then press Shift B to enable or disable the shape box. Okay, Shift B. All right, shape box for resizing, reframing. Actually, let's do that. Let's here we go. All this madness. Everything's selected, so if we do that, everything shows up. We do this. Oh, it's gonna have, whoa. Whoa. What if, wait, not actually what I was trying to, I thought it was gonna, oh. This is actually not what I was expecting that to do. You do time box. Wait, select all of them. Select all. Nope. Okay. And then we do the shape box. Oh. But it's like a spline editor. Or like a B-spline type thing. Like skewing it. I thought it was like a, you know, a box. I guess you have to. Huh. Oh. We did an illegal operation. Davinci's Resolve is like, red card! You're out of here. Okay. Sorry. I apologize, Davinci. It didn't like that trash talk, yeah. But what is that? What? I don't really get what that would be useful for. What if we do not as much? Okay, no, I guess if you wanted to do stuff. Oh, there we go. That's because I was being dumb and pressing this because the corners act in a weird way. But you could do time stretch like that, or uh, value stretch up and down relative to the center, I guess. And you could press Control and then just squish it in the center. Okay, starting to see the value in that. And then the shape box, yeah. Okay, so that's the shape box. See it? I see it. Could see how that could be useful. If no points are selected or you want to select a new group of keyframes, you can drag out a new triangle anytime, a new rectangle anytime. Ease in and out. So for a more precise way to adjust the length of Bezier direction handles attached to selected keyframes, you can use the spline ease dialog. To show the dialog, select a keyframe in the graph and then choose Edit Ease In/Out from the graph's context menu or press E on the keyboard. The Ease In Out controls appear on the graph area, and then you can drag over the number fields to adjust the length of the direction handles or enter a value in the field. Ease in and out. Okay, so let's go over to the bouncing ball again. And let's go to the start here and display. And we lost it again. We lost Y. What happened to the background? Why is there no more background? Bruh. Because this is going to the background and that's messing things up? No? Oh, because it hadn't animated in yet. Okay. I guess? No? Bruh. Something about this is going to the foreground. That's what we want. And this is going to the background. That's right. Uh-huh. Oh. But does it need... Oh, it needs a background? Is that what it is? A multi-merge needs a background? Is that what the... I think we acknowledged this earlier, but I forgot. Yeah, so it always needs a background. Okay, all right. Try to... I wasn't taking notes for today. I gotta write this down. Multi-merge always needs a background. Okay. And then, so what was I even trying to do here? I was thinking it would be cool to play with the boinks. Boink, 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 boink. Why does it disappear? But I don't get. Where'd it go? Aha, this is why. I have this at 500. Oh, it's locked. Now it should just keep on boinking. Keep on boinking. Dude, there's so much like small things that are tripping me up. Oink, oink, oink. That went to, do you think maybe reset the ping pong? Let's see if we get, these can be visible, but we want to edit this. And it's still, the animation is stopping where it was before at frame 70. That's where it was going to before, like the setting was set to the background was finishing then. But we've wait, so something's happening here. We see the animation, but it's not connected. Now we're troubleshooting. Yeah, I mean that is the animation, that up and down, but for some reason it's not showing. No, it would be this. See, the animation keeps going, but for whatever reason, the display. See, this is the start, and then it disconnects. Huh. Should I try restarting again? I really think this is all like user error. I think. Let's see. All right. Hmm. That's what? Huh. Handles show key points. Hmm. I don't know. Hmm. No, I'm so confused about that. Because I mean, it still continues. You see, and then it like disconnects, and we see the we see it still going. It has, yeah. I think that's another bug. Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So there's ease in and out, and then for a more precise way to adjust the length of Bezier direction handles attached to selected keyframes, you can use the spline ease dialog. So oh yeah, so that's actually what we wanted to check out, which was the ease. To adjust the length of Bezier direction handles, you can do the ease in and out by pressing T. So yeah, let's go try mess with these. If I do T, oh yeah, and that shows up here. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that is cool because now I can, that's how you can have it so this shape is consistent. So if this is ease in of 33 and then out of 1, then I could do ease in of 1 and out of 33. And then this shape should be 60. And this should be 60 too. And now the boink is now like consistent on both sides of the boink. That's a cool one. So you can press T to bring that up. If you're trying to get real precise with your animation or symmetrical or exact with that, or fine tune it to a certain degree. That boink is technically perfect. I think I crashed. No, okay. Why can't I move it? Oh man, what? It's gotta be user error. I believe myself. It's in my control. There's something about the way I'm doing this that keeps crashing. Why can't I move the... Anyways, technically perfect boink. And then we've got importing and exporting splines. I don't know how to explain this, but I do feel like the fact that things are breaking is my fault here at this point, especially at this point. We're kind of into the spline editor. We're probably not perfectly operating it, right? I feel like some of these things are breaking because of me. But there we go. What? Yeah, okay. And then click a bit lower if you want to move it. There we go. Oh. Oh. Oh, this whole time, I thought you could just grab the giant red part of it to move it. Wouldn't that have made sense? You could just drag from there. Anyways, we got the boink looking real symmetrical. Yeah, that's a little strange. So you can import and export splines, and then spline shapes can be imported and exported from or to an ASCII text file. So you can export splines. This makes it easier to save complex spline curves for later use or to transfer tracking, path, and animation data from one application to another. Oh, okay. Exporting splines are assigned the file extension spl for easy identification. And then to export a spline, you can select the active spline in the spline editor, right-click it, to display the context menu and select export. So let's get this one. Get this one. And then we can right click it. And we can go export. Points, I guess. And then it's saved as a SPL file, SPL. And here it is. We can open it with the text editor, and I think it's going to look crazy. Oh. Okay. That's not what I was expecting, but that's it. We've got importing splines. You can add an animation spline from the parameter in the spline editor. Right click on the animation spline and select import splines from the context menu. In the file browser dialog, you can select the spline curve from SPL. And that's it. We got through that chapter. Nice. 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 I think this is a good place to stop, right at 10 as well. Cool. That was good. All right. Where did we get to? That was 14, 41. I need a calculator for this. My brain. Actually, I feel pretty good today. "33 pages. I don't know why I couldn't just do that in my head, but nice. All right. Although I feel like this motion graphic might need a revisit, or we just continue on without using it. A few cool things about this though. I like that gradient. I think I don't have it on for the other color though, right? This one doesn't have motion blur. Oh, it does. Maybe turn up the motion blur. Oh, that's kind of cool. You can like adjust it this way. Oh, this is gradient. There we go. There we go. Oh. Oh, and this one too. Whoops. Oh, for the whole thing? Wow, we're like adjusting the look of the motion blur. This. So what are they? 3, 3. 3, 3, 3. What if we change this? Oh, changes everything. Yeah. Add some for the text as well. Some motion blur. Did we not have the motion blur? We did. But we can up the shutter angle and then the center bias. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's about. Oh, actually, I think it's too much. A whole lot of motion blur going on. Whatever. Motion blur is only good, right? Oh yeah. Let me just blast it up. Oh yeah. Oh. Ramp everything up all the way. Oh yeah, and then let's do the pre-render. Still breaks on that. And also the darker blue is on the background now. But anyways, we could double click it and now we could see this in RAM preview. All right. Well, that's cool. All right, it's a good place to stop. Might need to, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna fix this up or just keep moving and try again with something tomorrow. I don't know. Either way, or maybe that's what we could do tomorrow. We'll see. I will be on. I want to be here for like an hour or two, then watch the game. But yeah, cool. Figuring this stuff out. Thanks for hanging out, Michael. Thanks for watching. Anyone that's in the replays. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Peace.